We will not have class Wednesday. But you are responsible for looking at the videos for Wednesday. It will be starting on chapter 5. You are responsible for that work that I upload videos. Okay? So between now and Wednesday, you should have at least 5.1 and 5.2 done. Let me pull that up right quick and make sure I'm correct. Let me pull up the syllabus and the outline. Yeah, 5.1 and probably up to 5.3. I will probably put enough videos to go through 5.1 through 5.3. Now, y'all have had 5.1 and 5.3 material before because you've had basic probability in high school. So you should be able to work your way through the homework. But I will post the videos. They will probably be after this video. Does everybody understand that? Will there be people show up? Yes. I'm going to send out an email also. There will still be people showing up. Because I didn't check my email. That went out in 2000. Anyway, so has everybody got that? Okay. Y'all all going to talk and then I start class. Y'all quit talking. All right. So, just to reiterate, for those people just walking in, we will not have class Wednesday. You are responsible for the 5.1 through 5.3 videos that I will post after today's video. Everybody understand that? Okay. Now, we are continuing 4.1 into 4.2. Okay? We have gone over 4.1, finding the R coefficient. Have we done that? Yes. Because I got to keep y'all in the tens separated. I think we've gone over it. So we're going to go over 4.2, and it's just a continuation. So let's look at some of the slides. Here's one. Make sure you can do this. All right, what I'm going to do, I don't think I can do it with this, but nope, I can't. So just ignore the bottom, and, well, let me do this. Snip. I haven't had training because I've been working on posters. So let's do this and save and picture. And let me go back to the whiteboard. And bring it in on the whiteboard. I want you to find the slope and the equation of the line of these points. And I want you to use point number 2, the second point. I want you to use this point. And I want you to use this point. So, I realize that some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but those of you that do, I want you to do as much as you can, and then we'll do it together. This is a test question. It is also a standardized test question. Remember I told you, slope, correlation, causality. Make sure you can do all three for chapter 4. So if you can't do it, just write it down as what? A disappointment or a failure in your life. Skypers, can you see the screen okay? Just somebody tell me yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to thank the 6 or 7 that's Skyping in. Y'all did a great job. Y'all Skyped me 5 minutes before class. You gave me your name and the class, so I didn't have to go looking for you. So thank you very much for following essay directions. It only took, I believe, 4 or 5 weeks. Just on, you know. I still got people texting me. I'm Skyping in. Well, that's nice. You Skype in. Good luck with that. So you should be finished with the slope, and you should be moving into the point slope equation now. Now, you can't do this one on the calculator. You can, if you're smart, and just punch in those 2 points, you could do it. But see, this is a type question that they would give you on a test to see, you know, to not use the calculator. Because they're giving you 2 points. This is not a straight line. So you can't, if you put these points in the calculator and you hit linear regression, it's going to give you the line of best fit and you'll get the problem wrong. So you need to actually do this by hand. So slope is equal to delta y over delta x, which is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is equal to parenthesis minus parenthesis over parenthesis minus parenthesis. And you know I've got 3.5 degrees and I still use these parentheses. But some of y'all have no degrees, y'all don't use them because you don't need them. Okay, so which way do we read? Left to what? Left to right. So this is x sub 1, this is y sub 1, this is x sub 2, this is y sub 2. Now technically it doesn't matter which one you do because it'll come out the same, but I read from left to right, so that's why I'm picking those 2 points, left to right. So, what is y sub 2? 5.7, and then x sub 2 is 6, and then 2. And somebody take your calculator, $1.90 minus $5.70 is, they know, $3.80. Somebody help me out there.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to use your head to do change, you're supposed to use the calculator. And 6 minus 2 is what? 4. And that's your, somebody give me a decimal there. Negative point what? Did she say negative 0.95? Good point. Now we need to pick a point. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. So I'm going to pick a point. Which one do you think I'm going to pick out of all those points?
5.7.
Nope, I'm going to pick this one. Why?
Has a 0.
KISS method has a 0. How many of y'all like to add zeros? I do. They're easy. You mess up 0, you don't what? You don't tell anybody. Okay? So I'm going to pick that point. That's my y sub 1. This is my x sub 1. I'm going to plug and chug. Y minus parentheses equals parentheses times x minus parentheses. And my y sub 1 is 5.8. My m is and then x minus 0. And y minus 5.8 is equal to negative 0.95x. Because negative 95 times 0 is what? Bring the 5.8 across the river. And your final answer is y is equal to negative 0.95x plus 5.8. Now that is a problem that you should know how to do. It shouldn't be new to you. All of you should say to yourselves, oh, I've done that before. 0.95 and 5.8. So let's look at the answer and see what they got. I'll leave that up there for a couple more seconds. Make sure I didn't do anything wrong. We're fixing to find out if I did. So let's take our handy dandy transparency. And that's, did we get 7.6? We didn't? Well, we should have. Then I did something wrong. No, I got the 0.95. Oh, they picked a different point. Let's see what they picked. Let's see. It shouldn't matter what you pick. Oh, no, you have to pick. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm thinking this is a straight line. It's not a straight line. Okay, you have to pick one of the points. You were right, because it's not a straight line. I forgot that. Okay, so they picked 5.7 and 2. So we'll pick those points. Forgive me for messing up. So let me delete this. Let me delete all of this. And we will pick 5.7 and 2 because it is not a straight line. Now, why did they pick 5.7 and 2? Smaller numbers. Not by much, but they're smaller. So y, don't pick that. It's not a straight line. Y minus parentheses is equal to parentheses times x minus parentheses. And this is going to be x of 1, y sub 1. So 5.7. And negative 0.95 and 2. And that's going to give us y minus 5.7 is equal to negative 0.95 x. Somebody multiply.
1.9.
What?
1.9.
1.9. Is it 1.9 even? Be positive 1.9. And then bring the 5.7 over, and $5.70 plus $1.90 is $7.60. Okay. So that's one question on, or a couple of questions on the test. A couple will be R factors, a couple will be correlation, and a couple will be causality. And that's 4.1 and 4.2. We're going to continue with the slides because I want to make sure I cover things and tell you what's not important and what's important. So let's keep going. And there's what we just did. Now, you could take those. Let's go ahead and take those. And remember, why did they pick, and I want you to write this down, why did they pick two problems? Because they don't want you to do it by the calculator. That's why. Now, I want everybody to do it with the calculator. So let's take our handy dandy calculator out, which I did have it pulled up. I'm sorry, it disappeared. Let me go pull it up again. Y'all go ahead and punch those numbers in while I set up each individual time I have to set this up. Let me pull this in. There we go. So I'm going to pull it in, and we're going to do it with the calculator. I'm going to turn my diagnostic on because it's not set up, and every time you turn the computer off, it redoes it. So While y'all are punching it in, I'm going to go through and set up the calculator again. Posters. I get to look at posters tomorrow. There we go. Stat, edit, 0, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6. 0, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6. 5.8, 5.7, 5.2, 2.8, 1.9, and 2.2. Now I want you to find the slope and the y-intercept, and I want you to write that as a formula: y is equal to mx plus b. And then I want you to plot these points, and I want you to graph that line on the calculator. Okay? So go ahead, and I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Write down the linear regression, write down the y is equal to mx plus b from the calculate linear regression. Then I want you to plot these 5 or 6 points, and then I want you to put the line of regression in the graph, because they will ask you to do that on a standardized test, and I will ask you to do that on my test. You got to pick the graph. And if you can't do it, then that means you're a total failure. How do you say failure in Ukrainian? Uh-oh, I stumped them.
My brain's not working.
Oh, okay. At least you're not mumbling. No. Or disappointment in Ukrainian. I bet they're the same. I bet they're the
Americans
same.
aren't taught to pronunciate that. So.
I know what we can do. While y'all are working, I'll go to Google, dang old Ukrainian translator. See if we can find. I do stuff like this. Leave me alone. Usually I do it when I'm drunk, but you know, what the heck?
Are you?
Ukrainian. No, if I had a drop of alcohol on my breath, I would already got a phone call. Somebody would have done called.
How do you know I have a call?
Translator, because I don't have anything on my breath.
You gotta switch it.
What?
The little arrows.
Yeah.
No. No. In the middle. Click the X. In the middle.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, we're going to failure, and then we'll get Darth Vader to say the word.
Oh God.
It used to be Darth Vader. Y'all remember a long time ago they used to pronounce, and the person would say, hello. It would be like Darth Vader?
No.
Okay, forget it. Let's try it again. Nevdacha. You are Nevdacha. Let's do that. You are a failure. Yeah. You only got 2 words?
Yeah.
You're kidding. So you are a, that means, yeah. That's pretty simple. So now I can say, okay, let's do disappointment, and then I'll have those 2. Disappointment. I'm gonna say this to my kids. Okay, I'm trying to listen to my Ukrainian, please. Let's turn the volume up. I don't have a switch on mine. I got to turn it up a little bit. I guarantee you the people that are Skyping in, they're just fussing. I can't believe he's not doing math.
I forgot they were there.
Roshevanya. I don't care what you say. That's a pretty language. I'm sorry, but it's pretty. I guess I'm crazy. Chinyang. Roshevanya. Yeah. Okay, we had enough fun today. Yes, he was pulling up Russian words today. He's a Russian spy. So here we go. Here's our handy dandy. This is what you do. You got the numbers in there. Now hit stat, calculate, linear what? Linear regression. It automatically goes to L1 and L2. So you hit calculate and you feel good about yourself. Here's the formula. Y equals negative 0.71 x plus 6.55. Somebody tell me what is the correlation of this line? It's a very strong negative correlation, 0.95, negative 0.95. Very strong negative correlation. Now I need y'all to write that down. Y is equal to 0.71 x plus 6.55. Y'all got that down? Now we're going to take our handy dandy second. Y is equal. Hit enter. Hit on. Enter. And graph. Now we're going to type in y is equal to negative, what'd I say, 0.71? Is it 0.71x plus 6 point what? And you feel good about yourself. Ain't that neat? Okay, you're a failure. I can't say it, but T failure. From now on, I'm just going to mix them up. T failure. All right, who needs help? Okay, we're going to do it again. I'm going to start from the beginning. All right, so we go to stat, go to edit. You type everything in. Does everybody have everything typed in? Okay, now you go to stat, calculate, go down to linear regression. You got all that. L2 and L2 should be already in there. You hit calculate, and your line is y equal to negative 0.71x plus 6.55. You write that down on a piece of paper. R factor is negative 0.95. That is your R, that is your correlation coefficient. Now, you go to second, y is equal. You turn on the stat plot. It's already on because we already did it. And you hit graph.
Mine ain't going.
Okay, make sure it's on. It's got to be on first.
It is on.
Well, what's it saying?
Can you do that? It won't go to second. When you say hit second, I hit
Second?
and nothing shows up.
And y is equal. It doesn't do that?
Okay.
Okay. Now hit enter, and then hit enter again, and that will turn the first one on. And then you go up here, top right hand corner, and hit graph. If it doesn't show up, you hit zoom 9. Zoom 9 is zoom statistic.
Mine's a bunch of boxes.
Did you hit zoom 9?
Yes.
You've got something else turned on. You got to make sure there's only one turned on. So you've got 2 turned on. Turn the second one off. Just hit the second one, hit and turn it off. Anybody else got a question?
Now it's just showing 2 boxes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, turn them all off. You're going to have to start over because evidently you just turned off the one that you should have turned on. turn that off. Okay, clear. Second stat plot on. I'm going to turn it on. And then I'm going to go down and hit and zoom 9. There you go. Okay, now to plot the line, you go to y is equal, which is right above the second function, y is equal, and you type in the formula, the equation that I told you to write down on a piece of notebook paper. Negative 0.71x plus 6.55 and hit graph. And it should look like that. That's what you should be able to do with any one of these questions. You should be able to graph the points. You should be able to find the line of regression, the correlation coefficient, and you should be able to graph it. If you can do those 4 things, and you know what causality is, and you know how to do slope, then you can handle 4.1 and 4.2, because that's the only thing I'm going to ask you. Now let's go through the notes and see what else they do, and I'll tell you if it's worth anything or not. Okay, we did that, we did that. They're doing that. We've already done that. Least square regression line, we just plotted that. We don't go through this, okay? Go ahead and write this down. Write down how you find it by hand. I'm not going to go through this. We're doing it on technology. So the equation of least squares is y is equal to mx plus b. If you want to find the slope by hand, take r, the r coefficient, and multiply it by the standard deviation of your y coordinates over the standard deviation of your x coordinates. Whips and chains. If you like it, knock yourself out. I'm not gonna do it, okay? And then if you want to find your y-intercept is the average of your y coordinates minus the slope times the average of the what? X coordinates. Now, you would need a spreadsheet to do this tedious math. If y'all want to do it, we'll do it. That's when everybody's supposed to say no. No. And then there's one person that'll go, yes, I would really like to do it. We'll do it at home. Okay? There's formulas.
Are we doing residuals or not?
Mm-mm. All we're doing is line of regression.
There's a question on the homework paper.
Yeah, I know. Just skip it.
I just skipped
I'll give you points. I'm going to give everybody points for that one. I don't want y'all, please don't hang up 4.1 and 4.2 homework on 2 or 3 questions. Please. Because you need to get to chapter 5. Okay? Let's see. That's another least squares regression.
Why do they give so many points? Like, why do they have so
Because they want you to work on something for 2.5 hours. Okay. Interpretation of the slope. We know what the slope is. That's vertical over horizontal. Never, okay, write this down. Never use a least squared regression line to make predictions off of the graph. Never use the line that we're finding, never use it to go off the graph. So let's say your graph goes to x is equal to 20. Should you do a prediction for 30? No. You could, but it's not advisable because you're only using the points that you what? Have on the graph. So the points that you have on the graph only is going to predict as far as your graph goes. So you don't want to use a prediction for 30 when your x only goes to 20 on the graph. Capiche? Y'all settle down. I do not do r squared, but you get r squared in your calculator. So if it asks you for r squared, you have it. R squared is kind of like the variance, where r is standard deviation. You take the square root of it. If you're given the r, if you want to square it, then you got r squared. So I'm not going to go into that. Positive correlation or negative correlation? Positive correlation, good. We're not doing those. Oh, that's 4.3. We're done. Okay, so that's 4.3. Some of these books, they put all the slides in one chapter, so I forget to look and see. Some of them do it by section, so that's why. So let me go to 5. I want to show you a little bit of 5 and what we're doing in chapter 5. So I ain't gonna have much time because we only got 15 minutes in class, so we just gotta do the best we can. I'm going to tell you, just like I'm going to tell the 103s, I think I said 5, didn't I? Yeah, 5. There's 4 things that we're going to go over that you're going to be tested on in the coming sections. And I'm trying to find the power, there we go, chapter 5. Or chapter, did I say chapter 5? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. And I'll write down what's important. And here are the 4 things that are important if I could get this thing to work. And slideshow and current slide. All right, first thing is probability. General probability. Okay, that is the probability of picking a king out of a deck of cards. The probability of a 6 on paired die, on one die. The probability of 2 boys with parents having 2 children. Okay, that's basic probability. Okay, we have flashing lights on the bottom. Okay. The second thing I will ask you about is odds. These 2 are tied together. Okay, and we will go over those together. Third thing, the additive law. The additive law uses the word or. Please write that down because by Friday I'll forget it. I always forget or and and. 4, the multiplicative property uses the word and. And then 5, counting. And counting using factorial, which is an exclamation mark. Now, I don't care what we go over for Unit 2, I'm going to test you on that. Those are the 4 or 5 things I'm going to test you on. Now, I'm going to give you a video on 3 of those. Probability, additive, and multiplicative law. We'll go ahead and get started on it today a little bit because right now it's 10:48 and I got a few more minutes that I can use. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. And some of y'all already know how to do this stuff because it's one of the biggest things y'all hit in your 120 class in high school. You hit statistics with mean, median, mode, and all that stuff, and then you hit this. So I know most of y'all have seen this before. So let's go ahead and hit enter. I'm sorry. Probability. Let's go ahead and talk about an event. Probability is assigning, I don't know if that's spelled right, a number between 0 and 1 to a prediction based on 1, mathematics / stats, 2, logic, and 3, experience. Okay? Probability is assigning a number, which is a decimal, between 0 and 1, a decimal or a fraction, between 0 and 1, based on math or statistics, both, logic or experience. Okay, when I give this definition, I usually do the Wild Hog Road thing. And those of you that know where Wild Hog Road is, you know it's between the double bridges over here on Highway 24. There's the double bridges. And Garrett's is right there. And go this way to Townville. Okay? So there's double bridges. And Wild Hog Road is this long road. It's about 16 minute drive. Of course, there are some guys that can travel it in 0.2 seconds because they travel the speed of light. But normal people run, girls. If you ever, you know the guy I'm talking about? Run. Okay? Most people get on this road, they own it for 15 or 16 minutes because you can't pass. Why? Because it's pretty straight. And there's a lot of traffic on it. So when you get on it at 8:15, if you get on at 7:30 and you've got an 8 o'clock class, you're going to be late because the little old lady blue hair club is going to get in front of you. And how fast do they go? 33 miles an hour. Okay? So you're sitting here, and there's the little blue haired ladies club, and they usually get on. This is a campground for campers and stuff. That's where they get on at. They get on. As soon as you turn on, that's where they get in front of you. And so you're behind this person. About 7:45, you're about halfway. And then Pendleton High School is right about here. Okay? You get there about 8 o'clock. Then here's the red light. And luckily it's a dead end. And the Waffle House and Pendleton is right here. And the QT is right over here. And that's that new subdivision. New apartments is right in here and in here. Y'all know where we're at now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as soon as you get right here after you pass, you got about less than a quarter of a mile before you get to the red light. And you say to yourself, I bet that old lady's going to turn left. And just as soon as you say that, what does she do? She turns her left blinker on. Did you just tell the future?
Yes.
No, you did not. Did you just tell the future? No, because nobody can tell the future. Nobody can tell the future. Write that down. Because I want you to leave this class knowing that nobody can tell the future. And I don't care if your aunt's grandma's brother can have dreams and tells the future. Just ask him to dream about one thing. The lottery numbers. Anybody that tells you they can tell the future, I used to know someone that, and like I said, used to. When they started talking like this, that's why it's used to. They said that they could take my dreams and write down my dreams, and they could interpret them to tell my future. No, they just did it. And they decided to start going into having counseling sessions to where they could tell people their future. And then they started charging people. Like I said, I used to know somebody like this. Okay? Why? Because I don't fall for that stuff. If you tell me you can tell the future, I'm going to ask you one question. And that question is, give me the lottery numbers for the Powerball lottery, Wednesday night, February the 20th. Oh, well, that's not what I do. You're a fraud. Shut the hell up and get away from me. Okay? Because if you could tell the future, then you would say to yourself, hold on just a minute, I'll get you those numbers. And you would not be telling the future for $50 a piece. What would you be doing? You would be in Vegas. You would be at the. What would you be doing if you could tell the future?
Winning the lottery.
You would be doing nothing but making money. That's why people can't tell the future, because you would be making all. Is it time to go? I think I got 5 minutes. Have I not?
I don't think so.
What time's class over?
I did.
Okay, some of you are being rude.
With a current temperature of 50.
All right. So if you could tell the future, you would basically, do that. So what do we do? Well, how did I know that person was going to turn left? Well, if you live in West LA, which is over here near the double bridges, how's the only way you can get to Pendleton? By Wild Hog Road. Okay? Oh, well, I go Clemson Boulevard. Well, you're just going a long way around. Okay? And you like traffic and you like red lights. If you travel Wild Hog Road, you have 2 destinations. Pendleton/Clemson or Sandy Springs. Now, why did I know that she wasn't going to turn and go to Sandy Springs? If you know about Wild Hog Road, what do you know about Wild Hog Road? It's got about 3 or 4 places that you could turn right and go to Sandy Springs. So by logic, I know if that person has passed those 3 places, that's why I said a quarter of a mile from the red light. Because more than a quarter of a mile, there's one more turnoff for Sandy Springs behind Pendleton. If y'all know anything about Pendleton, the road goes behind Boscobel. Okay? So, logic tells me that if she passed that 3rd right, then that's only one place she could be heading. And where is that? Pendleton/what? Clemson. So there's the logic dictate. So whenever you meet somebody that tells you they can tell the future, what's the first thing they're going to start doing? They're going to start asking you questions so they can start deducing. You ever played 20 questions before? That's exactly what somebody that tells the future, that's what they do. And they know you're depressed because you're there asking them for the future. So they know you're depressed, you're in a state of depression already. And usually you're in a state of depression for 2 reasons. Money or love. So they're going to attack those 2 things first. Okay? It's a scam, so don't fall for it. If you do, ask them for the lottery numbers. Oh, that's not what I do. See ya. All right. Now you can be rude. Now what is the assignment for Wednesday?
Watch videos.
Do not come to what?
Class.
Please don't go to the front desk downstairs and act all stupid, okay? Because I've given you the announcement that you are not to come to class Wednesday. No, I want you to just do 2 problems. No, I'm just kidding. Hold on just a second. Let me turn off the... Yeah, I got to fix some of these teachers. They don't have a life.